Good morning, children. Let us continue with the chapter, the French Revolution, which we were doing in our last class. We have finished till this part that in the Estates General, the voting had to be started, and the representatives of the first estate, the second estate, and the third estate all were present there. The members of the third estate wanted, the representatives of the third estate wanted that each member should be allowed to give their own vote, but when this proposal was rejected, then they moved out of the assembly in protest. After this, we have to start. The representatives of the third estate viewed themselves as spokesmen of the whole French nation. That means the members of the third estate, the representatives of the third estate, considered themselves as representatives of the whole French community, whole French nation. On 20th June, they assembled in the hall of the indoor tennis court in the grounds of Versailles. They declared themselves a national assembly. This is important. They declared themselves a national assembly and swore not to disperse till they had drafted a constitution for France that would limit the powers of the monarch. So now they had decided that they will limit the powers of the monarch. They will finish the absolute monarchy which prevailed in France till now, and they are going to frame a constitution for France. They were led by Mirabeau and Agassiz. Mirabeau was born in a noble family but was convinced of the need to do away with the society of feudal privilege. He brought out a journal and delivered powerful speeches to the crowds assembled at Versailles. Agassiz, originally a priest, wrote an influential pamphlet called What is the Third Estate? While the National Assembly was busy at Versailles drafting a constitution, the rest of France seethed with turmoil. That means it was full of anger. A severe winter had meant a bad harvest. The price of bread rose. Often, bakers exploited the situation and hoarded supplies because the price of bread was rising. So the bakers used to take advantage of the situation and sold bread at higher prices and hoarded the supplies of bread. After spending hours in long queues at the bakery, crowds of angry women stormed into the shops. At the same time, the king ordered troops to move into Paris. On 14 July, the agitated crowd stormed and destroyed the Bastille. Bastille was the jail. In the countryside, rumors spread from village to village that the lords of manor had hired bands of brigands who were on their way to destroy ripe crops. Caught in a frenzy of fear, peasants in several districts seized hoes and pitchforks and attacked chateaux. They looted, hoarded grain and burned down documents containing records of manorial dues. A large number of nobles fled from their homes, many of them migrating to neighboring countries. Now, in this paragraph, children, and in the previous paragraph, there is nothing for you to learn as such. Only in the previous paragraph, the last line you must remember that on 14 July, the angry crowd stormed, that means attacked Bastille and destroyed Bastille. Otherwise, in the previous paragraph and in this paragraph, there is nothing for you to learn. Now, the next paragraph is a little important. Faced with the power of his revolting subjects, Louis XVI finally accorded recognition to the National Assembly. Now, when Louis XVI saw that the crowd was becoming furious and there was a threat of a revolution to start, so he showed that he is going to accept the National Assembly, and accepted the principle that his powers would from now on be checked by the constitution. That means till now Louis XVI, who was an absolute monarch, also accepted that now his powers could be limited. His powers could be checked by the newly formed constitution. On the night of 4th August 1789, the Assembly passed a decree. Decree is an official document. Passed a decree abolishing the feudal system of obligation and taxes. So many dues had to be paid to the feudal lords. So all those taxes and dues had to be done away with. They were abolished or finished. Members of the clergy too were forced to give up their privileges. As I have told you earlier in the starting of the chapter, that the clergy and the nobility enjoyed all the privileges. So the extra taxes which the people had to pay, the feudal dues which they had to pay, they had to work under the feudal system, all those things were abolished, and the powers or privileges of the clergy were also limited. Tithes were abolished. Tithe was a tax which the third estate had to pay. If you remember, we have studied in the starting of the chapter. Tithes were abolished and lands owned by the church were confiscated. That means they were brought under their control, the control of the constitution, the newly formed constitution. As a result, the government acquired assets worth at least 2 billion livres. France becomes a constitutional monarchy. So, with the limiting of the powers of the monarch, that was Louis XVI, with the checking of the extra taxes, with the abolition of the feudal system and limiting the privileges of the clergy, lots of changes were brought about in the French society. Now we will see how France becomes a constitutional monarchy. Now children, under this heading I have summarized whatever is written on this page and on the next page. I will just advise you that listen to the summary very carefully, which I will read out now, and read these 2 pages yourself at home, and you will be able to relate what I am saying very easily. France becomes a constitutional monarchy. The National Assembly was drafted. As just now in the previous page we have read that a National Assembly was constituted. And its main objectives was to limit the powers of the monarch. Just now we have seen on the previous page that the powers of the monarch was checked. The unlimited powers which Louis XVI was enjoying till now were checked, and they were limited by the newly formed National Assembly. The National Assembly was drafted and its main objective was to limit the powers of the monarch. Power was divided between the legislature, executive and judiciary. This was another important change which was brought about by the newly formed National Assembly. The power was divided between 3 categories: the legislature, the executive and the judiciary. This made France a constitutional monarchy. How did France become a constitutional monarchy? By dividing the powers between legislature, executive and judiciary, France became a constitutional monarchy. The constitution began with the declaration of rights and of man and citizen, such as right to life, freedom of speech, freedom of opinion, equality before law. The constitution started its work, the newly formed constitution started its work with the declaration of rights of man and citizens. That means all men and citizens were now given equal rights and freedoms. What kind of rights and freedoms? Right to life, freedom of speech, freedom of opinion and equality before law. This you have to learn, children. The newly formed constitution began with the declaration of rights of man and citizen, such as right to life, freedom of speech, freedom of opinion and equality before law. They were established as natural and inalienable rights. This also you must remember. These rights and these freedoms which were given or guaranteed now by the newly formed constitution, they were named as natural and inalienable rights. Natural because we get these rights from the time we are born. By birth we get it. And inalienable rights, they are called inalienable because nobody can take these rights from anybody. These rights have to be given to every person, every citizen. Right to life, freedom of speech, freedom of opinion, and equality before law. These were termed as natural and inalienable rights. It was the duty of the state to protect each citizen's natural rights. So these natural rights, which were also termed as inalienable rights, these had to be protected by the state. Each citizen's right had to be protected by the state. Now let us see our next important heading: France abolishes monarchy and becomes a republic. I am reading now, pay attention, you also read in your books. The situation in France continued to be tense during the following years. The situation in France continued to be tense. This is an important line. Although Louis XVI had signed the constitution, he entered into secret negotiations with the King of Prussia. That means Louis XVI had just signed the new constitution in order to suppress the growing agitation, in order to cool down the people. But actually, he was still making some plans to get his rights and powers back. He entered into secret negotiations with the King of Prussia. Rulers of other neighboring countries too were worried by the developments in France and made plans to send troops to put down the events that had been taking place there since summer 1789. That means behind the scene, Louis XVI and other neighboring countries all were worried about the growing agitation of the people in France, and they were making plans to how to suppress them, how to put down these growing events. Before this could happen, the National Assembly voted in April 1792 to declare war against Prussia and Austria. Thousands of volunteers thronged from the provinces to join the army. They saw this as a war of the people against kings and aristocracies all over Europe. So before Prussia, along with other neighboring countries, could start a revolution or could start doing something which will go against the people of France, the people of France, along with many volunteers from army, etc., they saw that their position in France was in danger, and they started raising their voice against the kings and the aristocracies. Aristocracies means the nobility, the clergy, the nobility, such sections of people. They started raising their voice against the king and against the aristocracies all over Europe. Among the patriotic songs they sang was the Marseillaise. This underline, Marseillaise was the patriotic song which the people started singing. Composed by the poet Roget Le Isles. It was sung for the first time by the volunteers from Marseilles as they marched into Paris. All this you don't have to learn, children. That when was it first sung, who was the poet, these things you are not going to start learning. There is no need. Marseillaise is now a national anthem of France. The revolutionary wars brought losses and economic difficulties to the people. So, although the people had started these revolutionary wars against the aristocracy and against the kings, but they brought lots of financial losses and economic problems to the people. While the men were away fighting at the front, women left to cope with the task of earning a living and looking after their families. So the role of women now increased. Earlier men were there to take care of the family, to earn a living for the family, but now when the men had gone to the war front, the women had to take care of the family members also, and they had to earn their living also. Large sections of population were convinced that the revolution had to be carried further, as the Constitution of 1791 gave political rights only to richer sections of the society. Now children, here you must remember that whenever we are talking about any political right, the most important political right which we talk about all the time is the right to vote. So the people of France, large sections of population of France had to carry out or continue to fight or carry on with their revolution, because they had seen that till now the constitution of 1791 gave political rights or the right to vote only to richer section of the society. Only the propertied men, that means those people who owned large property, only those sections of society in France were given the right to vote. Otherwise, all other ordinary sections of people, the common people, and of course the women, all were not given the right to vote. Only some privileged section, some richer sections of the society were given the right to vote. Political clubs became an important rallying point for people who wished to discuss government policies and plan their own forms of action. So, in order to bring about a revolution and give political rights to other people also, political clubs started playing a very important role. The most successful of these clubs was that of the Jacobins. This you have to underline and remember and learn. The most important club, political club, was the Jacobins Club. Jacobins started a club which was called as the Jacobins Club, and it played a very important role to give political rights to the people. I am reading this again. Political clubs became an important rallying point for people who wished to discuss government policies and plan their own forms of action. The most successful of these clubs was that of the Jacobins, which got its name from the former convent of Saint Jacobin in Paris. Women too, who had been active throughout this period, formed their own clubs. So not only did men form their clubs under Jacobin, women also were very active in revolutionary activities, and they also formed their own clubs. Section 4 of this chapter will tell you more about their activities and demands. The members of the Jacobin Club belong to mainly to the less prosperous sections of society. This you must underline, that all the members who belong to the Jacobin Club, they belong to the less prosperous sections, less richer sections of people in the society. They included shopkeepers, artisans such as shoemakers, pastry cooks, watchmakers, printers, as well as servants and daily wage workers. Their leader was Maximilien Robespierre. Please underline. Very, very, very important name, Robespierre. Maximilien Robespierre, or if you learn only Robespierre, then also it is totally correct. So, Jacobins Club leader was Robespierre. A large group among the Jacobins decided to start wearing long stripped trousers, as you can see in the figure. Trousers are worn by a man and he is wearing long stripped trousers. To those worn by dock workers. Dock workers means those who worked at the shipyard. This was to set themselves apart from the fashionable sections of society, especially nobles who wore knee breeches. That means those people who belong to the fashionable sections of society, they belong to the richer sections of society. These members who had newly joined the Jacobins Club, who were ordinary people, who were not very rich sections of the society, they wanted to wear long striped trousers so that they could differentiate themselves from fashionable sections of people in the French society. It was a way of proclaiming the end of power, viewed by the wear of knee breeches. That means by doing this and by wearing a different kind of dress, they wanted to show that they will bring about an end of power of the aristocracy. These Jacobins came to be known as the sans culottes, literally meaning those without knee breeches. That means those who were wearing a long trouser which was striped. Sans-culottes men wore in addition the red cap that symbolized liberty. Women, however, were not allowed to do so. Women were not allowed to wear cap, whereas men used to wear red cap, which was a symbol of liberty or freedom. In the summer of 1792, Jacobins planned an insurrection of the large number of Parisians who were angered by the short supplies and high prices of food. On the morning of 10th August, they stormed the palace of Tuileries, massacred the king's guards, and held the king himself as hostage for several hours. So, Jacobins, the members of the Jacobins club had started their agitation. They were angered with the high prices of food, high prices of bread, and also the short supplies of bread. And in order to show their anger, they brought the king under their as their prisoner. As a hostage means they had taken the king Louis XVI as their prisoner. Later, the assembly voted to imprison the royal family. So, firstly, the king was taken as a prisoner. Later, the members of the royal family all were brought as prisoners. Elections were held. From now on, all men of 21 years and above, regardless of wealth, got the right to vote. Now, in the previous page, just now we have seen that political rights or the right to vote were given only to the rich sections of people in the society, but with the forming of the Jacobins Club, with the agitation or revolution which was started by the Jacobins Club, all members, all men who were 21 years of age or above, they were given the right to vote, whether they were ordinary sections of people in the society or they were rich sections. The newly elected assembly was called the convention. This also you must underline and remember. The newly elected assembly was called the convention. On 21st September 1792, it abolished the monarchy and declared France a republic. So, by the forming of the Jacobins Club, an important political right was given to all men, and also a newly elected assembly was formed. It was called the convention, and France was declared as a republic, and monarchy was abolished. As you know, a republic is a form of government where the people elect the government, including the head of the government. There is no hereditary monarchy. If you remember, children, I had given you this definition when I did this chapter with you earlier, and I had also given you, I think, one of the questions, define a republic. So, what is a republic? A republic is a form of government where people elect the government, including the head of the government, and there is no hereditary monarchy. Like India is also a republic, because in elections we elect the government, we elect the head of the government, and the position is the office of the Prime Minister is not hereditary. You can try and find out from some other countries that are republics and investigate how they become so. If you want for your GK, you can do this. Louis XVI was sentenced to death. As we have just now read, that Louis XVI along with his family members all were imprisoned. Louis XVI was sentenced to death by a court on the charge of treason. Treason means cheating. On 21st January 1793, he was executed publicly at the Place de la Concorde. The Queen Marie Antoinette met with the same fate shortly after. So all were killed. The Reign of Terror. Reign of Terror is also, children, very important. This also I am reading, and you also must revise it later on, because a separate question often comes from Reign of Terror section. The Reign of Terror. The period of 1793 to 1794 is referred to as the Reign of Terror. Pay attention, okay? Robespierre followed a policy of severe control and punishment. Remember who was Robespierre? The head of the Jacobins Club. Robespierre followed a policy of severe control and punishment. All those whom he saw as being enemies of the Republic, ex-nobles and clergy, members of other political parties, even members of his own party who did not agree with his methods were arrested, imprisoned, and then tried by the Revolutionary Tribunal. Now, children, I think you must mark the changes which were brought about by Robespierre, because this comes as a separate question in the exam. Point number 1 is Robespierre followed a policy of severe control and punishment. Point number 2, all those men whom he saw were enemies of the newly formed republic, whether they were ex-nobles or clergy or members of other political parties or members of his own party. If they did not agree with his methods, then they were arrested, imprisoned, and executed. If the court found them guilty, they were guillotined. Guillotine means they were killed. Now, there is also a line which tells you the exact meaning of this term. Guillotine is a device. Guillotine is a device consisting of two poles and a blade with which a person is beheaded. That means the head of the person is kept between the poles and there's a blade and the head of the person is cut. He is beheaded. It was named after Dr. Guillotin, who invented it. Guillotine is a device. Dr. Guillotin invented this device, and the punishment was called as the person was guillotined. Okay? Robespierre's government, this is the third point now. Robespierre's government issued laws placing a maximum ceiling on wages and prices. Placing a maximum ceiling means placing a check on the rising prices to control inflation. I am repeating, children, this is the third point. Robespierre's government issues laws. That means he made laws, his government made laws so that they could put a check on the rising prices of bread and wages. They could put a check on the wages and prices. Meat and bread were rationed. This will again come under third point only. Meat and bread were rationed. Peasants were forced to transport their grains to cities and sell it at prices fixed by the government. So, in order to see that everybody got wages and everybody got bread, the rationing of meat and bread was done, and the peasants were forced to transport their grains to the cities and sell the grains there in the cities at fixed prices, the prices which were fixed by the government. The use of more expensive white flour was forbidden. All citizens were required to eat the pain d'égalité, equality bread. That means everybody had to eat the same kind of food, the same kind of bread. The expensive white flour was forbidden. All this will come under third point only, children. That the use of expensive white flour was forbidden. All citizens were required to eat the same equality bread, a loaf made of whole wheat, that is atta. This is all third point. Now the fourth point will start. Equality was also sought to be practiced through forms of speech and address. Address means how people will be called, like sir or madam, etc. Okay, so it was seen that equality should not only be in the system of eating habits, but also through forms of speech. Everybody should speak the same language and everybody should be addressed in an equal way. Nobody should be considered as high or low. So this is the fourth point I am repeating. Equality was also sought to be practiced through forms of speech and address. Now fifth point. Instead of traditional monsieur, that is sir, or madame, that is madam, all French men and women were henceforth citoyen and citoyenne, that is citizen. every French every person living in France was to be treated as a citizen of France, not to be addressed as sir or madam. The sir of madam, these kind of addressing the people, these kinds of titles used to address the people were done away with, they were finished, and everybody living in France had to be treated as equal citizens of France, whether he belonged to a higher class of the society or not. So this is your fifth point. Sixth point, churches were shut down and their buildings converted into barracks or offices. Churches were closed, they were converted into offices. Next, seventh point, Robespierre pursued his policies so relentlessly that even his supporters began to demand moderation. No, children, this is not going to be your seventh point. Your sixth point is the last point. Okay, so if you are asked about the changes which were brought about by Robespierre or by Robespierre's government, then all these 6 points which I have told you, you will have to write. So this reign of terror, this is a very important section in this chapter. Please learn these 6 points by heart. Robespierre pursued his policies so relentlessly that even his supporters began to demand moderation. That means his system of implementing his new reforms, his policies was so strict that even those people who loved the reforms brought about by Robespierre, who followed him, they also want moderation or a little relaxation or a little leniency. Finally, he was convicted by a court in July 1794, arrested, and on the next day sent to the guillotine. So his end was also bad. He was also guillotined. A directory rules France. The fall of the Jacobin government allowed the wealthier middle classes to seize power. The fall of the Jacobin government. Why did the Jacobin government fell? With the death of Robespierre. Robespierre was the head of the Jacobin government. So when he died, the fall of the Jacobin government allowed the wealthier middle class to seize power. Now, those sections of people, those wealthy sections of people whose power had been cut, whose power had been eliminated by the Jacobins government, these wealthier sections of people again started coming to power. A new constitution was introduced which denied the vote to non-propertied sections of society. Just now we have seen that when Robespierre's government was formed, when Jacobins Club was formed, all men who were 21 years